It was just a typical day. Went to school, went to high school, and after school went to work down at the grocery store. Like I did every day, 5 days a week, and was just filling shelves when all of a sudden it started to shake. The first, I'd felt earthquakes before, but little tiny things. When this one hit, it started to shake and things started falling off the shelves. But I'll tell you this, it was noisy, extremely noisy. A crunching, grinding noise. And at the same time, when the poles would whip in opposite directions, the line would go twing or twang or something. If you looked up the street, you could see waves coming down the street, just like the ocean. The ground was like an ocean, and it was extremely noisy. So I went home. I walked up the hill, and where we lived, we have 3 huge picture windows that look all the way. You can see the Chiniac and the base. So I was standing there looking out the windows, and I said to my dad, who was there, I said, you know, look at how low the tide is. And he walked over and looked and he said, no, that's normal. And 10 minutes later, hey, Dad, look how high the tide is. So about that time, the cops came by with their megaphones hollering, go to high ground, go to high ground, get out of town. So I went up the hill and I ran into a buddy of mine. We went over to his house. So we stayed there and watched a few things wash down the channel, and then he had to go somewhere. So I said, okay, so I started home, which is a couple blocks away, and decided I'm going downtown. I mean, it was just starting to get dark by the time I got there. You could hear all the buildings crunching and crumbling, and probably, I'm going to say, the second wave we went down, but the road was starting to fill up with buildings and junk and stuff where you couldn't see it. But the amount of noise was fantastic that was caused by the water coming and going. There was no wave. It just down and then came up, and then it went down again. And every time it went down, it went lower, and every time it came back up, it was faster. Here it was more of a up and down, and then when a wave came in, it wasn't breaking like you see in movies or anything. It's that I saw. You go to high ground. Seriously, that's the first thing. You got to get away from it so that you're not caught in it. I mean, if there's a tidal wave warning, tidal wave watch, the more time you have, the better off you are to get your stuff out of the house you want to save. And I'm not talking about TVs or those kinds of, I'm talking about the pictures you can't replace and that kind of stuff. But I don't worry about my boat. I don't worry, it's in the boat harbor. If it goes, it goes. I'm not going to go down and try to save it. It's not worth it. Same thing with my automobiles, but it's not worth messing with. The earthquake was something that the tidal wave was the thing that messed everything up. If we hadn't had the tidal wave, just the earthquake, I mean, everything could have been put back together pretty fast. But very little damage was actually done by the earthquake here.